Hey guys, so it's me again with another new angle, and I just wanted to talk about something that, well, let me just get straight to the point. I want to talk about my mom and what happened with her. I remember when I was very young, she was always there. She had a lot of boyfriends, and some of them were abusive, and she got married quite a lot, but she was still there for me, if you can understand. Like, I could tell that she loved me and wanted to take care of me. But I would say around 5th grade that kind of changed, and she changed. She started doing things that seemed pretty crazy, and I didn't understand. She kept me home from school for a week once because she swore that I was going to start my period, because she did around that date at that age, and that I was going to too, and I was not allowed to move. I had to sit on the couch with a heating pad, and she wouldn't let people like see me. Like, my friends came by and were like, "Are you okay?" Because I just kind of disappeared there. And I didn't start my period, and I wasn't sick, so it was just kind of one of those weird moments. And then middle school, things got worse, and she may have always had a drug problem and I just didn't know it, or it may not have started until I was around 5th grade. I'm not sure. Middle school came around, and one of the things that I remember so well, I remember she was on house arrest. I'm not exactly sure why she was on house arrest, but I remember having to go to AA meetings with her. Like, she made me go, and I don't know, it was a strange experience. And I remember one day it was just me and her home. We were living with my granny at the time, and the police showed up at the door, and they dragged her away. And I was like, I don't know, 12. And they didn't care that no one else was home with me. They didn't care that we didn't have a way to contact anyone to come be with me. They just said that I would be fine and took her and left me there hysterical, which I didn't know it then, but I'm pretty sure that was the panic attack that I had after that. And so she went to prison for the rest of my middle school years, and she got out by the time I was a freshman. She missed my 8th grade graduation though, but she did get out before I started school. And she would just disappear for weeks, and we wouldn't know where she was. And this was before cell phones were affordable and everybody had them. Like, if you had money, you had them, but that was it. It wasn't something we had in our household. We didn't have internet, we didn't have computers. Pretty far behind in technology. I went to school at 14 like nothing was wrong. I didn't tell anybody that I was home by myself. My stepdad knew. And at this point, my granny had died, so I couldn't stay with her. stepdad was a truck driver, so he was gone most of the time. So I got left alone a lot. You know, I grew up as the only child in the household. I used to have step siblings, but they were not living with us. They were, you know, living elsewhere. You know, both way older than me. And I just hid it. And I focused on school as much as I could because I didn't want to be like her. I didn't want to end up like her. And school was like my getaway from home. I had friends, I had people around me. Anyway, she did a lot of different things to me. There was another time where we were moving and she was trying to take me to go see the place where we were going to move to, and she kept falling asleep at the wheel. And every time we would try to wake her up, she would say we were distracting her and going to make her crash. It was to the point that I called an aunt to come get me because they couldn't trust her driving. Anyway, for all the bad things that she did to me, she was still my mom. And so I loved her. And when she died, I fell apart. I just remember being at Hardee's and my aunt coming in crying. And I thought it was, you know, just her and her husband having a fight or something. And then I thought she was going to order food, and instead she walks over to the side and I see her talking to my manager. And I knew something was wrong. And she had died in the middle of the night while everybody was asleep. And what we found out was that they were getting ready to lose their apartment. And so my stepdad had given her his pills, his pain pills that he got from the VA, to sell to be able to pay their rent so they wouldn't get evicted. And she didn't come home that night. She was gone all day and night. So he called her, because at this point she had a prepaid phone. And a couple times he said somebody else answered. And then finally she answered. And he told her if she didn't get her ass home, that he was packing up his shit and leaving and not coming back this time. So she did come home. And she immediately went to the bathroom and called my aunt. And I think she was begging my aunt for money. Not the aunt that came to tell me, but my aunt out in Illinois, her sister. They said she was in the bathroom for at least 30 minutes crying on the phone. And I'm pretty sure she was begging for money to pay the rent. And the reason that they didn't have the money for the rent is because she claims that she got jumped in the parking lot of their apartments, and that her entire SSI check was stolen, which probably is not true. She probably spent it on drugs. She was borrowing money from me every 2 weeks. I was giving her $40, and she kept telling me as soon as my stepdad had a job that I would get the money back. And here I was barely making $600 a month. Usually on average sleep between 4 and 6. And sometimes even less than that. It just depended on the week. I was only making $6 an hour. So after she came out of the bathroom, she of course was covered in tears and said that she hadn't slept at all and that she was tired. And I'm not exactly sure like what happened, but her and my stepdad talked, and at some point she fell asleep with her head on his shoulder. And she did like she did so many other times, and just slept and slept and slept. So when they all went to go to bed, they just moved her where she wasn't sitting up, laid her out. So she was laying down on the couch. And I know for most people it would be weird, but she would do that a few times a month. So, like, it wasn't that super strange for her. In the morning, she was supposed to go to get something that she had on her nose checked out because they thought it could be cancer. And so she was supposed to be up at 5 a.m. Well, they woke up in the morning with the hospital calling because she didn't show. And she was still in the same spot where they had laid her. And she was cold. So at some point in the middle of the night, she had stopped breathing. When her toxicology test came back, they said she had like 13 different drugs in her system. Like meth and Lortab and just a bunch of stuff. And they said that they were surprised that with the amount that she had in her system, that she even made it home and was awake and doing as much as she was when she first got home. So apparently she had slipped into a coma and stopped breathing in the middle of the night. And we still don't know to this day if it was on purpose because she was scared of cancer, if she just didn't want to deal with life anymore, or if she maybe was just having too much fun and overdosed by accident. We never did find who gave her all of those drugs. I don't even know what they classified her death as. Probably not something that they're ever going to bother looking into to figure out what happened. It's just an open and shut case. And I find myself so angry at her, like, why she would do that. And why she put me through so much hell growing up. But the other part of me mourns for the loss of the person she could have been. I haven't forgiven her. And her ashes are still in the same bag that I received them in. I have not found I don't know. I have not been able to bring myself to buy her an urn. I think her loss hurts so much more than my dad's, because I don't feel like I even really knew her. And I don't know if she ever truly loved me, or if she just pretended to because that was what was expected. I don't know. I'll probably never know. I'll probably never come to terms with it. I just wish I could ask her why. At least with my dad, I knew that he loved me. He didn't leave me on purpose. His was his health. My granny's was her health. But I don't know. I don't know why she left. And knowing that I have no one left. And I do have aunts and uncles and cousins, but I don't have parents or grandparents or brothers and sisters. It's sink or swim. I'm by myself. I'm gonna have David, but it just hurts. And I don't know if I'll ever get over it.